It is such a pleasure to speak with you. I've been a big fan of yours for many years, and it is
Oh,
so fun watching you on the studio.
oh my God. Thank you so much.
It's obviously entertaining, but I wonder if there are any qualities that you think Maya has that are inherently good.
Yeah, I think she's very passionate about her job. I think she's let me see. I feel like my Bluetooth isn't on. Oh, maybe it is. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. Oh, oh, wait a minute. I'm so sorry. You're in here somewhere. I want this all to be a part of it. Um technology. Um yeah, I do. I think she's like her intentions are correct. Like she wants a movie to do well. She is passionate about promoting film. I think that that's yeah, her intentions are ultimately good. And I think actually her gut is good. Like she actually knows what she's doing and is really, really good at her job. And I think that there are many opportunities that she could have sabotaged other people that she works with, and she doesn't. Like she actually, for despite all of her like, ugh, is like actually a real um uh collaborator underneath it all, you know. But she's
Yeah,
always,
I
I
think
feel like she's always right.
I think a lot of people in the industry have responded well to this show because they feel like it is very true to life that sometimes these projects just start out as one thing and then become something so much. Do you feel like that's true that this show really captures the way the industry works?
Yeah, I know a lot of filmmakers who have started their know what their project was, and seeing it kind of the meaning of it kind of be misunderstood as it goes into the publicity part of it, and all of a sudden it feels like it maybe it gets away from you as a filmmaker. So I feel like that's very true. I also feel like what this show does is it really shows how much, oh God, um how much the passion these amazing humans have for film. Like that there are actually not I think for Maya, it's definitely more about money. Like that's her role within, of course, within the company, is to make as much money as possible from a film. And I think her taste, you know, she doesn't really give a shit part like what it is that she's putting out there as long as it's making money. But I think because she's surrounded by people who are really trying to make at least um Matt and Quinn are really, really trying to make the best product possible. So yeah.
It's so fast paced and just witty, all the back and forth and all that. If there were a lot of improv involved and also a lot of takes you have to do again because you guys are just making each other laugh.
Yes. It what I love about it too is that it seems very improvised, but it is not really. And I think the very few moments where we that it felt like fun to play around with, because the structure of it was so clear, and you just kind of got on a ride. Like once you started the scene, it was like every line kind of started to fall out, and it would have been weird rhythmically to add something else. When you did, it was like exactly what was a natural part for the scene. It always was additive, unless you know there was something just that came out that was like wah wah, which you always felt guilty about because they had to go back to the very beginning. But I think that because we worked in concert with our incredible cameraman Mark, it really there was such a dance between us that you really wanted to take care of. I mean, you always do, but you want to take care of this cameraman who's like holding this huge equipment and like kind of dancing with you. So there was, I definitely felt, I think we all did, a tremendous like responsibility not to let him down because of the work that our amazing DP and that this camera operator were doing. So it kind of heightened the stress. Like we rehearsed it, rehearsed it, rehearsed it, rehearsed it, and then it was like this very tingly, like, oh my God, I don't want to screw this up feeling. And then you would be kind of in the scene and you would see the camera coming towards you and go, screw it up. And then so it was definitely a new way of working for me. And because it feels so loose, but it actually was very, very technical. And I learned so much from it. It was a blast. It took me a second to get the rules though. Like because I'm so, I would definitely like was a little more technical. Um, And yes, I definitely ruined some takes laughing for sure. I gotta admit it to you.
Well, you also have such incredible guest stars on this show that I feel like on certain series that could be a very sort of heightened, nervous type of set. But here, everybody's showing up to poke fun at themselves and mostly to play themselves.
I anyone that can do that, I am in love with. I just love a human being that can take a, shot at themselves and see the humor in it and be able to have that kind of self-awareness. I just and I and anyone that I was surprised it was able to do that in the show, I just completely fell in love with. Like, I mean, Ron Howard was just such a surprise, like just such a delightful surprise. And Sarah Polly's incredible. And she's a writer this season, which is so awesome. And um really, really excited. So yeah, that was, and it also felt kind of, it was intimidating when they came on the set, and then you realized, oh, they're the ones who are nervous because it's such a it's such an ensemble, and there's such a because, like I said, the rules are so specific that it was actually interesting that most of these huge guest stars you felt were more nervous.
I feel like most of the scenes that you're in are with the whole, main
Yeah,
ensemble. Who do you want to have more solo time with in the future?
in the show, in the ensemble. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like I was really short shifted with Catherine O'Hara. I am very excited to hopefully have a lot more um a lot more time with her for sure. And Ike, because I think he's hilarious and I love him as a human. I mean, all of them. I think that Seth and I definitely discovered some kind of like dark, twisted history, romantic entanglement, which I think would be really fun to explore as well.
Is there anything that you can share about season two that wouldn't get either of us in trouble?
That's a really great question. I know what's in the stew of it, and it all seems really I'm very excited. Um uh and I hope that Maya um my hopes for Maya is that she starts to get what she wants, because I think it's like a little bit out of reach. I think Kool-Aid was a huge win for her, and we'll see how it all plays out. Yeah.
What has it been like doing press for this show and Agatha all along at the same time? I feel like they're such different, such separate projects.
It's really Abe Wally. What I wanted, why I got into this whole mess as an actor from the beginning, is that I can be able to do these wildly different genres. And um, Agatha is like an experience that I mean, I love that part so much. I love Jack Schaefer so madly. And that experience for all of us was a really deep dive. And I'm so proud of that show. I'm so proud that it exists, that we were able to make it, that I worked with that incredible ensemble. So, um, but yes, it is wildly different from I mean, it's all ensembles are ensembles, but it does, of course, feel wildly different from the studio.
And the door is open based on how that show ended for something more. Do you have a desire to come back to this character?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like especially where we saw her at the end, I mean, I guess a ghost. But I'm very excited to see there's many, many possibilities. So I mean, who knows? But I certainly am not done with playing that witch.
What is it like interacting with people from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and just being part of that giant entity?
Well, I didn't know much about it. It just was not like in part of my what I grew up watching, but my kids were, especially my son. So I learned a lot from him. And it also felt like coming in this way through like the witchcraft avenue vein was like it felt like a completely different. It didn't really feel connected to what I had known of Marvel. Really felt like we were kind of this wicked stepsister vein, especially with WandaVision, because it was such a huge departure for them. It's such a huge, like, all right, risk that when that and that since that was my intro, I I was I was thrilled like to be in that material with those costumes and those actors and have that amount of like craft all around was really exciting. Yeah.
You've been in so many different great projects over the years. I think we actually had a phone call for a few minutes about Tiny Beautiful Things
Oh, yes.
hours before the strike. Like it was Emmy nominations day, and then like that night was when the strike was
That's right.
authorized. And so
Oh,
it's like
wow.
it's timing is sort of everything in some cases. And while that I know was always intended to be a limited series, looking back, I was remembering The Shrink Next Door, Mrs. Fletcher, Happy-ish, some really like great gems from there that definitely didn't catch on as much as I think other things did, like Transparent or WandaVision. Do you have other memories of projects that you just wish people would bring up randomly in an interview
Oh,
that they don't?
for sure. I love Dick. I loved so much, and I felt like that was ahead of its time in a lot of ways. And I really do wish that we had had like there was such possibility after you wrapped that first season that I really um uh and Joey Soloway had kind of mapped out this incredible second season, and I love Kevin Bacon and Griffin Dunn and that whole group. And I that was a disappointment that we couldn't explore more for sure. Mhm.
I also noted, not a TV show, but The Family Fang is a movie that I
Oh
feel like
yes.
occupies a lot of space in my memory just because of mainly because of Christopher Walken and just the way that he is so dark and interesting in that film. But it just feels like a very peculiar project that is so dark, comical.
Yeah, that's so great that you brought that up. I had worked with Jason on Bad Words, which I think might have been his directorial debut. I'm not sure, but he was such an incredible director. I love him so much as a human and respect him as a filmmaker and director. So I would have, I was clearly, I played like a real teeny part in that movie because I just wanted to be around him and I wanted to be in his like creative ensemble. So but I love that movie. I love that script. I love that film. You're right. I wish more people um had seen it.
I've also been watching a lot of Parks and Recreation clips, and I see the one, where you wearing the poncho and get paint on it from the kids. That just and that's the kind of show where there are so many guest stars, so much stuff, but I feel like you still made a very strong impact as a character who's actually probably a little bit scarier than Maya.
Yeah, in a weird way she is because she really doesn't have any um like she doesn't care who it is. Like she's like her beliefs are just like doesn't really she'll just follow again, just follow the cash and the that's it. Like especially it's like I feel like she's very like but what they wrote was something that it was like so not cynical. Like she could have been so like cynical, but I do agree she could have been scary. And also, I don't know if it would have been as funny now.
Maybe
So
I
it's
don't know. I
kind of
think there's
perfect timing.
That's true. That's true. Well, in terms of funny, I mean, there's so many great comedies you're in. Also, some of these projects like Tiny Beautiful Things that are just so much more serious. Do you feel like you look for a mix of genre in what you're doing?
No, I feel like whatever it is like it it does feel like the next thing is just the next thing. Like I don't ever like look for some kind of some genre. It just feels very random and also divined. Like whatever it is that's supposed to be the thing that is all of a sudden I'm doing it. So yeah, Tiny Beautiful Things was um right before Agatha, I think. And that was yeah, real deep dive. Like very and I love that cast and love Cheryl Strayed so much. And yeah, that was a real tender experience for sure. And then something like The Studio, which is like wildly different and you feel really as an actor that's for me the dream is to be able to find the reality in both of those universes and also the Marvel universe, a lot of universes.
I said before, Barry and the Bear, Transparent was also a comedy series, even though you really, didn't laugh that much. There was this real dark, dramatic undercurrent to it. But I feel like
Yes.
that must have been just especially working with Joey again.
Mm, yeah, I mean that because also Transparent is so deeply personal to them. I'm basically their family story that I love working with. I did that again with Tamara Jenkins, like that humans that it is so deeply personal. You want to just do right by them and their story. And Joey in particular is very open in terms of improvising and finding like finding the scene basically on the day with these actors. She's like they have a very open available brain for that. So that I think really added to the texture of Transparent. They had because there was so much freedom.
Is there a kind of role or project that you feel like you have never tried that really intrigues you and you haven't gotten to yet?
I mean, so many, and I feel like I'll meet her when I meet her. I just saw Weapons, and that blew my mind. I had to watch it through my fingers, and my daughter and I literally brought a blanket from home. Um, but that I love horror as a genre, really, especially in a movie theater. That or a big or like a comedy, like I loved was the Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd one, Friendship, I think that was out. Like those comedies that you could, those movies that you see in a theater with a ton of people is like, and the reaction feels, I just love going through that with a group of strangers. So something like that would be really fun. Weapons was a blast.
What have you seen on TV recently that's sticking with you that you like a lot?
Oh, what have I seen recently? I mean, I know this was an oldest show, but I saw I may destroy you again just to be re-inspired, and that I think is like I think the best show I've ever seen. I love that show so much. I love what it accomplished, and I love how again how personal it was. Like that could only have been told by. That's the kind of thing that I mostly that I find myself like. Oh, is After Sun? I think is one of my favorite films of all time. Fleabag, like that kind of so deeply personal. It could only be told this way. There's no one else that could have made it. Like that feeling is um I love.
Well,
And I
aside from
also
season two,
really had fun like watching Sirens. That was a great summer watch. Didn't ever want it to end.
it was too short. I feel like 5 episodes was not
Really.
enough.
And
We
also
should have.
always oh, too short. Also always White Lotus. Like just it's like a summer. I just know that it's like it's the best thing to watch during the summer. It's I love it so much. And incredible ensemble. And
Well, aside from
Severance,
this,
of course. Severance. Adam is one of my closest. I mean, there's so much good television. Like, yeah. So there's a lot. Pitt. I mean, get it. I've only been watching TV.
well, aside from the studio season two, is there anything else that's coming up for you that has been announced you can talk about?
Nothing that's been announced. No, but I definitely have been lucky again enough to be keeping busy and also just enjoy this end of summer.
Wonderful. Well, it's such a pleasure speaking with you. So
Um,
excited to talk about so many different things, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of great stuff to talk about in the future too.
I really hope so. That was fantastic.